Welcome to the Investing Podcast, presented by Tusk Media. For a quick audio and video check-in on the stock market, here's the Stock Market Power Lunch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Investing Podcast. This is the Stock Market Power Lunch Friday. We made it, last episode of the week. I'm Andrew Hall, joining me as always the unit, Matt Kresbach. What's up?
Not always afternoon though.
That's right. Yeah, we're bringing him in early. Sam Frost is down in Biloxi doing a little,
probably losing all his money.
Little gambling. So we're hoping to have Sam back and in action on Monday. I'm also kind of hoping he gets in a Lochte style incident. And maybe
that's what you're hoping for?
I'm kind of rooting for it. I think it would be great for us to be able to cover one of our own in that sense. Markets rallying a little bit from where they were in the futures. Dow currently down 11 basis points. S&P down 17. NASDAQ actually positive, up 8 basis points. Global Dow down 27. Gold down 74. Oil rallying hard, up 2 basis points. 48.23 per barrel for oil. We talked about this morning, I think if we hit 50, we're going to bring the cash cannon back.
Yeah.
We got to now. And it can just be a thing where every time oil closes over 50, we just spray cash everywhere.
So what if it gets like 55 and it's above it every day?
We'll just start doing $55. I think it could be a good little stunt for us. The other thing obviously driving the market is the Tusk Bump. We talked about a couple companies this morning that had pretty good earnings, and they were up a little bit in pre-market trading. Actually, one of them was not. Deere was actually down just a little bit. But we talked about them, hyped them up, and Deere up 11.2% right now. Foot Locker, we talked about that at length, and stock was up about 4% pre-market. It's up 11.3% right now. So the Tusk Bump, it's a real thing. Garrett was wondering what that was. Garrett, the intern, didn't know what a Tusk Bump is. Now he knows. Now you know.
When's the last time you've been to a Foot Locker?
That's exactly what we talked about this morning. It was like, I don't understand what it is. There's people walking around with referee jerseys on. I feel like they're breaking rules. Kind of an really odd concept.
I mean, they're pretty much still only in like malls,
mm-hmm.
right?
They're only in malls, and I feel like every time I walk by, they have like, each time, which again, I go to a mall like twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
every time I walk by, there is a smaller and smaller and smaller selection of shoes. I don't know if you feel that way, but I feel like I look now and it's like, oh, there's 12 pairs of shoes on the wall. That's it.
None my size.
Yeah. And they're all super fresh, though, apparently. Garrett, by the way, a little trivia on Garrett. Garrett's been walking around lately just eating Cheez-Its straight out of the box. It's his new hobby, I guess. That's his lunch. Cheez-Its. Yesterday we had meat day. Today's cracker day. So he's just walking around eating Cheez-Its out of the box. So got that going for him. Black is the new red. Not a racial slur. Talk to the people about this topic and what's going on with prisons.
Well, this is kind of like an extended story from yesterday. I can't remember if it was after hours yesterday or during the day, but the Department of Justice came in and said they're going to like phase out the privatized like prison system, or the federal privatized prison system. And so like all those stocks, like I think there's 2 or 3 main ones that dropped like 50%.
Just hammered.
They rebounded to like down 35%, and then today they're up like 15%.
Yeah.
So net,
if you bought that low,
that'd be crazy. You'd got so much money, but
Yeah.
like net wise, it's still down quite a bit. And analysts are saying that like, well, there's only like 10 or 20% of their book that's actually a federal prison.
Right.
They have other facilities.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Good move, bad move to dump the privatized prisons in general, whether it be federal or state?
I really don't know. I was going to ask you that, what your thought was.
I'm kind of in favor of privatized prisons, and I realize that obviously creates a little bit of a conflict when you have something that's both a publicly traded entity paired up with something that's supposed to be kind of a public service.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that aspect of it, but if there's one thing I think the federal government's really good at, it's inefficient operations.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, part of me would prefer to have a publicly traded company and its shareholders profiting than the federal government just burning cash.
Well, it is interesting that the Department of Justice is saying that the federally run prisons, like based on their studies, are like run better and are safer, like whatever the reasons they use.
Yeah, I'm calling their bluff. I'm calling their bluff on that. That's kind of like when we say that the Tusk Bump is a real thing. Like we're saying that the stocks we talk about do well. Of course we're saying that.
So you have like no issue in investing in something like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm a big proponent of if you have an issue with incarceration rates, don't go to jail. That's kind of my stance. I don't know whether it's a social movement or whatever. I think a great thing we could all do this weekend is go out and not get arrested. That's my stance. And we can't bat 1,000 on that, but we can do our best. And we already talked about Lochte this morning. And my stance on Lochte, by the way, we're going to talk Olympics in a minute, but I said that Lochte is way smarter than he's getting credit for. He did something stupid while he was intoxicated, spun it into a story where he got a ton of sympathy, and then he got the heck out of Dodge.
Isn't he still in Brazil?
Oh, he's gone. He's back here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which I feel like everybody's like, oh, what an idiot. I'm like, no, he's fine. He's doing whatever Ryan Lochte does. If he's not swimming in the Olympics, he's doing that right now. Guaranteed. Trump and Manafort, we can't have a podcast without talking about Trump. It seems like Paul Manafort, the head of his campaign, and he's only been there since like March or April, something like that. Mm-hmm. Interesting selection to be running that campaign to begin with. He hadn't been involved in a presidential campaign, which is a really like small, tight-knit circle.
What was his title?
He's director of the top guy.
Oh,
Director of the campaign or whatever they call it.
Serious?
Yeah. Campaign director, whatever it is. He's the top dude. But he hadn't been involved in a campaign since like 96, I think, with Dole. So it's kind of a weird selection because ever since then, ever since 96, when Bob Dole obviously did not win, he was basically a very pro-Russian lobbyist or agent, and that was kind of known, but he was working primarily with international agencies. And it comes out now that he made like $13 million from a pro-Russia Ukrainian president that set up kind of an illegal payment scheme. So supposedly, and this is the kind of stuff that I don't know anything about, you might, I doubt you do. It'd be pretty impressive if you just totally schooled everyone on this right now, but apparently you can be an American citizen basically working as a lobbyist for an international country or government, but you have to register domestically, so in the U.S., as a foreign agent. And he didn't register as a foreign agent. So basically he tried to influence American policy to favor Russia while working for the Ukraine, and got paid like $13 million that he hid.
From the Ukraine he's getting paid? Is that?
Yeah, he's getting paid from the Ukrainian president through some kind of shot, but the U.S. didn't know he was getting paid, so they felt like he's just which, again, I mean, who works for free? So it's kind of like, well, why does this guy really care that much? There was money pretty obviously always there. So he was an interesting pick to begin with, but that came out this week. He has now resigned. What's Trump's spin zone? What's he say?
He's falling apart, man.
It's unbelievable.
Hillary's got this locked up.
The statues.
Hate it, love her or hate it. Like
Yeah,
she's locked up.
Hillary's locked this thing up. You heard it here first. Hillary Clinton, your next president of the United States. Olympics, another bold prediction. The U.S. is going to win the gold medal count. Sitting steady at 35, Great Britain 22, China with 20, Germany 13, Russia 13. They got this thing locked up. We don't count silver, we don't count bronze. The one thing I will say, though, that I feel great about is of the 100 medals that losers recognize, so 65 that don't count, we have more gold than even silver and bronze. So even if you use like a really loose definition of winning and say winning means you don't have to win, even if you do that, we still win more often than we don't really win.
In the past, I haven't got super into the Olympics. Do they always win? Like, does the USA always win the Olympics?
Pretty steadily.
Olympics?
They win pretty steadily. I was actually looking at the summer all-time records, and they're typically, like, their historical gold medal count is about 3 times the second closest competitor, which is Great Britain, conveniently. So, U.S. pretty much wrecks. They're winning, like, solid rate. Not quite doubling up Great Britain, so Great Britain, I guess, technically is
What about winter?
done better this year. Winter, the U.S. has it as well, but not nearly as dominant.
Yeah.
So, interesting count there. Olympics, I said this in our pre-production meeting. Do you like that?
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit of Olympic fatigue. I'm excited to watch Usain Bolt do the 4x100 tonight. He's the most entertaining athlete in the Olympics. Period.
Yeah.
He's so fun to watch. Like, from the time he comes out on the track to the time he leaves. Which yesterday he turned a 200-meter race. I don't know if you noticed this. He turn a 200-meter race into like a 30-minute event, all of which like camera on him, like he's not leaving that track.
I wish there was more. He did more stuff like Michael Phelps, like does 6 races. Or
Yeah,
something,
if he could run backwards and like do
something,
crawl, all these all the ways that we can modify running to make it kind of like swimming. Anything you're excited to watch close out, and we still got, I guess, basketball on the table.
How far are they into that?
I think they're in the medal round now, so maybe one more game, 2.
Are you getting into that?
Not really.
Me neither.
I have the hardest international basketball. I know there's people that really love it. I hate it. It's so fundamentally, not even fundamentally sound, fundamentally boring.
It's just like when the U.S. is like so heavily favored to win, it's like, well, they won, cool.
Yeah. I probably, the only time I got kind of into it was, what was it, 04 that we didn't win? I think 04 we got bronze and kind of avenged it in 08, so I was kind of into it in 08 just because it was clearly 04 was an anomaly. But yeah, Olympics kind of dragging on. We'll probably do another Olympic update Monday. We don't know when they end. If you know, leave us a 5-star review and tell us when they end.
Well, like you said, it's got to be really close.
It's got to be close. That's about all I got. You got any closing weekend thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Very good, very good. This has been the Investing Podcast. We'll be back next week. A lot of fun stuff going on. As we said earlier, Ben is talking with his old boss, basically. Yes.
He's a terrible worker. So glad he's gone.
So hopefully we can get some dirt on Ben from that podcast. It's going to be up Monday night, and then hopefully Ben can, like, in turn talk about how great Narwhal is compared to where it used to be. And I don't think he'll do that. Ben's too classy. But we all know he thinks it. But yeah, hit subscribe, leave a 5-star review, follow us on Twitter at Tusk Media LLC. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Tusk Media LLC. Lots of content next week. Y'all have a great weekend.
Tusk Media is a subsidiary of Narwhal Capital Management. Ratings and reviews of Tusk Media content are not to be construed as endorsements of opinions, analysis, or services offered by Tusk or its parent company. The opinions and predictions shared here are our professional beliefs at the time of publication. We are not under duress from any of the corporate entities mentioned. This is not a solicitation to take any particular action. Although we are investment advisors, this information should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. We strive to be as impartial, insightful, and accurate as possible. We base our opinions, analysis, and calculations on information we believe to be reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy. We can, however, guarantee that our opinions will sometimes be flat out wrong due to a variety of factors. Employees and clients of Narwhal Capital Management may or may not hold positions in the securities detailed and may or may not hold these positions in the future. A full list of all securities purchased, sold, or held during the 12 months preceding the date of this publication can be provided upon request. Unless otherwise noted, all data accessed via MarketWatch or the Bloomberg terminal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. A copy of Narwhal's Form ADV is available at the SEC's website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov, or from Narwhal upon written request.